What if asking 5 uncomfortable questions could completely transform the way that you achieve success while finally quieting the anxious noise in your mind? If you're new here, hi, I'm Cody. My degree is in cognitive behavioral neuroscience, and I'm trained in IFS psychotherapy. I've spent over 22,000 hours studying the nervous system and the mind so that you don't have to, and I've helped thousands of people recover from trauma, high-functioning anxiety, and tons of anxious achievers using neuroscience. And in this video, I'm not just sharing why these questions are game changers. I'm giving the exact steps to use them to unlock wisdom, clarity, and real peace. So grab your journal because this is about to get personal, baby. These questions might just change the way you live your life. If you are a longtime subscriber, you know I'm a collector of questions. Questions have the mysterious power to change our feelings, thoughts, actions, beliefs in seconds. That's what I hope to do today. Which is why a good question is worth its weight in gold. A group of people that doesn't ask themselves enough questions are my anxious achievers out there. I'm one of them. So I get it. Don't worry. We're too busy grinding or attacking the next task to stop and think about what we're doing, why we're doing it that way. Should we be doing it that way? Well, maybe we shouldn't shoot ourselves. You get the point though. All this is great for massive action, but not for developing deep wisdom, because wisdom is experience plus introspection. Without the last piece, you're just taking tons of action and getting lots of experience, but you're not becoming more wise. Darren Hardy on his Darren Dailies talked about this week, and it hit me so hard. I was like, I got to make a video about this because I fall on this trap so often, which is why I make it a priority to pause and ask myself questions like the ones we're going to cover today. So grab a journal, buckle up. I really want you to take a second, take a couple minutes out of your day and really ask yourself these questions in a deep way and answer them. Like, seriously, even if you do one at a time, there's tons of them that we're going to cover, but well, really only 5, but just take a second, please, and actually do yourself a great big service. Okay. Number 1, this is a tough one. Am I living life to impress others or fulfill myself? Am I living my life to impress others or to fulfill myself? Okay. I had to put the heaviest of hitters first. I've lived a lot of my life to impress others. Okay. There, I said it. Hopefully it's easier for you to say it now. Okay. It's okay. I've done it. Like I've been there. I'm still on the journey. If that makes you feel even better. This belief behavior keeps you safe or kept me safe. It got us attention, love, affection when we were young. So it's easy to do when you're externally rewarded for it or achievements. But if you're not reminded that you're good enough or loved for just being, it can become a challenge. This belief can be seared in. You don't have to do anything to be enough or worthy. These big realizations that I've seen anxious achievers after anxious achiever come to after working through this question. You don't have to do anything to be enough or worthy. These are some of the biggest realizations that I've seen anxious achievers or these high functioning anxiety type people come to when they realize and work on this question and take a second and really dive into this. They start to understand their own self-worth at a different level. Some good follow-up questions after this one is, who are you trying to impress specifically and why? Do you even know what it means to fulfill yourself yet? And if no one knew, this is one of my favorites, if no one knew what decision you were going to make, what would you do differently? Would you ask any different question? Would you make a different choice, do a different behavior? It's such a powerful question because it puts you in a vacuum and allows you to do whatever you feel is right for you, which will be challenging at first because you might not know, because it's been so long since you've made a decision for yourself that is selfish. Even though it's not selfish, it feels selfish. Trust me, it's quite the mind, you know what? All right. Time for question 2. Don't need this to be a 45-minute video. What would happen if I failed? And am I avoiding that fear more than pursuing my dreams? Ouch. Okay. Think about that. The inverse of this one is powerful too. 2, what would happen if I succeeded? Yes. What if I succeeded? The fear of success plagues just as many, if not more people than the fear of failure. So think about that. Okay. Outlining exactly what happened if you failed though is a great way to beat the unknown fear you let rot in the back of your mind. It keeps you paralyzed until you shine a light on it. For example, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for nearly 5 years now. It's exhilarating, but also terrifying. There's no one coming to save me. Okay. However, I can tell you that outlining exactly what failure looks like has been extremely helpful. If I were to completely fail, which I have, I know what the worst case scenario looks like. Let's break it down. I've done this. Let's pretend I have $0 in my bank account. I get kicked out of my apartment. My company's a failed. I can't pay my bills. I can't buy food. Like worst of the worst type of stuff. These are some of the biggest fears I've had and I've got in relation to failing. Now that there's light on them, I can create a plan for each of them. If I had to move back with my parents, I could. If I had to get a 9-to-5 job, to get back on my feet, I could. If I had to restart a company from zero, I could. And I have. Now, the fears that could have prevented me from even trying to pursue my dreams are laughable. I constantly have to ask myself this question because as you move up and pursue one set of dreams and fears, a new one emerges. There's levels of this thing. I was just talking to a client about this today. I face it myself. Everybody faces it. There's levels. Okay. So that's question number 2. Question number 3. Who am I when I'm not achieving or checking things off my list? Oof. What a freaking question. I pondered this one for so long when I first got asked it in therapy. I had no idea.